Hello everyone, it's Julie Edwards and I'm back, and welcome back to my channel. I apologize that I've been away. I've had some other things come up, as you all know, some family things like that, and it's, coming to a close. Everything's calming down, but I just wanted to let you know that I have been working on some floral pictures, paintings. And the reason for that is to get that creative mojo back. I haven't used watercolors in probably over 20 years, maybe over 25 years. And I thought I'm just going to delve right in, completely out of practice. It's, fishing back in my memory bank of how to mix colors, and how much water to apply, and things like that. And so since I've been working on this, let me just show you where I started off. Okay, I think in the first video, I think I made a video, but it was not a very good video. I just left it at, but I worked on this. It was officially this without these in the background, and then I continued to do some fades in the background on this one. This here, I began, this actually was the first one. This was going to be my hydrangeas, but I haven't put in the details, and I didn't work on this one because I didn't like this wash of yellow. I may go back and fix this for a later date, but this is what I've been doing. So this is my first one. I'll tuck that back in here, and then my third one was working on this butterfly. It was a wet on wet type of painting, the butterfly here. And then I worked on the dragonfly. Just trying to get the technique down and figuring out where, oh, excuse me, that was my loud phone. Just trying to get my technique down and figure out what kind of painting and I like to do. And I actually like to do detailed work. I know I love sketching, where that is, you get into lots of details with the kinds of pencils that you use. And then with working with watercolors, I love detailed painting, but it's something that I haven't worked myself up to that point yet because it's been so long, so many years. I did start off when I was into watercoloring doing more of your abstract type of painting, and that's what these are, more abstract. And then later on, and as years went by, when I was young, I got into more detailed watercolor painting, but I haven't arrived there yet because I'm getting back into. And so if you've seen from the first picture that I've showed you till now, that creative knowledge is coming back, and I'm loving to work with sort of this splotchy abstract technique. And then eventually I think I'll get into some detailed watercoloring. But for now, this is what I'm up to. This was my latest, and I've been posting them in my Facebook page of the the paintings that I make. And then today, I'm going to do another flower. And I've already prepped my board, and the paper that I'm using is not, this is mixed media, and it's not your 140 pound 300 GSM watercolor paper. So this, as I'm working with this paper, it has a tendency to warp a lot, but this is what I use just because I'm practicing. I don't want to invest in really good paper and use it to practice on. I'd rather wait till I feel more comfortable in rediscovering my techniques. Then I'll move to using really good watercolor paper. But for now, I am using, I don't know if I shared it in my last video. Let me show you. I'm using this right here, Grumbacher. It's made in the USA, acid-free, 60 sheets, mixed media, and this is 90 pound, 160 GSM. Great for mixed media work, for water and acrylic and oil and things like that. But it's not the very best to do just wet on wet type of projects, but it's a good start. And what I love about this paper, let me show you. I got this at Walmart, inexpensive. Oh, this is a reference photo that I'm gonna do an abstract watercolor on that one once I feel a little more confident. That's what I'm gonna work on. I'll set that aside. But what I love about this paper is that you can pull this out, and you see this right here. This, once you're done painting, you can stick that right back in. And so that's what I've done with my paintings that I created. So you just kind of push these back into the spiral like that and close it up, and your pictures are now safe back into, let's see, back into the book, and that way you can keep all of your artwork that you've created back in here. So I've put them back here in the back of the book. See? Oh, and that's my grandbaby's paintings right here, so I have to keep it. This is her painting. And we had a paint night at her mama's house, at my daughter's house. So that's what I'm using. For those that are wanting to try watercoloring, just go for it. Use a reference photo if you have to, and start off with something a little more abstract until you're comfortable with working with water and how much water to apply, how much pigment you want to use by having less water, and when you want a lighter pigment, then you apply more water. As you can see from my palette here, this is my little paint that I keep using in the flowers that I make, and there's no white space. So what I'm doing is looking at my palette and deciding how I'm going to create my flowers. So I know I'll be using all these actually in here. And what I want to do is start off, I want to create like a tea stained effect background first. So what I'm going to do is wet my page, not entirely, but like in quick fast blotches, and then take probably this color here, sort of a brown, light umber color, and I'm going to use that to just splotch all over. Okay, and this is a great part about watercolor, because you just can't really go wrong with watercolor, you know, because you can manipulate it a lot easier than acrylic paints. Okay, so let's just get started and let me show you what I'm doing. So I'm wetting my brush, and then I'm just taking it and just getting some water down, you know, in little puddles and areas like that, and just getting it over here. And then I'm going to take this right here, I'm going to re-wet this, reconstitute this, and see how much water there is in this, on this palette right here. And I'm just going to take it where all these little wet puddles are and just kind of create like a tea stained paper background effect before I lay my, let's see, I think my paper's starting to dry, so I'm going to work fast real quick because I have my overhead fan on. But you see how, let me see if I can bring this up closer, has that sort of tea stained effect. And I'm trying to keep this as light as possible because I will add more later, but I don't want to cover up all my white space because I need that to build my flower on. So here's this, and I'm trying to get in little areas a little bit darker. You know how tea stained paper looks, right? it'll have light to dark shade, you know, areas of in the background of your paper. You know, when you tea stain paper. So I'm just picking it up and just trying to create little darker areas that you would get to make it like a tea stain paper background. And I think that is pretty good right there. Yeah, so as my overhead fan's on, it's gonna dry this up. And actually, you know what I'm going to do is take a little, if you see right up in this corner, there's a little bit of a green, and I'll show you. See, so it's kind of muddy, a little bit of green undertone. Just put some of that on there. Like so. Let's see if I can bring it up to you. Can't really tell in my lighting. Okay, I think that's gonna be, it's gonna be good. Just mop up some of this. Okay. So that's the first step. And then this pink in here, well actually I need to build up some green. And I'm gonna take this deep dark green that I have here. Let me see it, because I've added some black into this. And how I know what I want is I'll take my napkin and test the color. So that's a little bit too dark for me, so what I'm going to do now is take some of this, I think it's like a burnt sienna, or burnt sienna color. And I'm just going to mop up some of this up and bring it down. And bring this down and collaborate it with some of this green. And then let's see that? Now that's way too much brown, so what I'm going to do is take up some more of this green in this corner and swoop it in. And this green, oop, that was a gnat, excuse me. I use this green over here, which let me just mop up some of that one real quick and show you. See? Let's see if that's going to be what I want. Excuse me guys with that phone. I'm going to come over here and grab some more of this green. Put it down on my palette. And I think this might be it. Yep, I think that's it. And then I'm going to wet my brush, and then I'm going to start the base of my flower. And I know that it's puddling right here. And you'll see, I'm going to mop up some of this up here. See how I'm making it lighter? And I'm bringing some of the darker right here at the base. Well, excuse me guys, a gnat is really bothering me. I'm going to come over here and get a little more water and bring another base of my flower. I need to get some more water down right here. Okay. And then I'm going to bring one down here. Okay, that was just a little more, too much water. So I'm going to mop it up, wipe it on my napkin, come back in here and get some more pigment, and then drop that in. Because it's still, there's a lot of water there. And just drop that in like that. Bring some more in here, actually. Make some of this section in here kind of light. And you'll see why. And you know, find a picture of a flower, you know, online or something, and then just mimic it in like a abstract type of photograph. And then I'm going to dry this up and grab in some more of this darker color here and drop it in here at the base of my flower here, down in here. I'm just trying to catch some shadowing effect. I know, let's see. Should I bring you guys in? Let me see how it will work. Okay. So now while my... Hang on, let me grab a little more pigment from over here. And bring that in. Oh, it needs a little more water. And then what I'm just going to do is I'm going to take the tip and just bring down some stems. Like so. And then while I have my stems, I think what I'm going to do is do some like squigglies for my leaves. See, it doesn't have to be perfect, just some abstract leaves, just like that. Can you see that? Just really abstract, and then I'm going to bring in some more of this darker color, and then you'll see oops, a little too much. I'm just going to bring in some, drop in some darker colors in the leaves to give it a little more definition while it's, you know, wet. So I'm actually using up all of this stuff, and this is what I love about flowers, because pretty much you're using all of these same colors over on this palette, you know. I'm going to drop some in right here. And that when that dries, it's going to look absolutely beautiful. Just like that, okay? And then I'm going to clear this up, and while the paint, let me just add a little more water up in here, because I'll show you the reason why I dropped some water in there. Okay, hang on a second. Just going to turn down this phone real quick. Hold on, guys, so it doesn't keep interfering. So I've got some pink pigment in here, and I'm going to reconstitute this. And then as I'm looking at it, I'm going to see if that's what I want. Really light. And then I'm just going to go here and just start dropping in So you see, it's kind of, once you get your mojo back into watercoloring, or if you want to start out, you see, it's so fun to just try it out. And then I'm going to bring some of that pink in here into this. While everything is wet, I want to bring in some of this pink pigment along here, and I'm going to come over here where the darker pink is right there and kind of add a little more layering of right there at the top base of the flower. And then I needed to clean this brush off real quick and just drop in a little liquid here because it just dried out, and let me mop up some. I put too much. I need some of this pink to bleed in right here. That's just a little too wet. But that's okay, it's fixable. You just take some of that water off, and then I'm going to get some of the more of the darker pigment and bring that around like so. Drop it in, mix up some of this green right there, so it's, and then just bring some of that pink down. See how beautiful that looks? Are you seeing that? And then we need some more of this dark pigment up here, the base of this flower. Too much wash right there. See how it went outside the box right there? So I'm just going to cover it with the green. And you see how easy that was to fix, right? Yeah, watercolor. Think you should get into it. It'll be totally fun. And the reason why I'm moving it, I have the flowers on this side of the board, is because when I want to fold this in half, I'll have a lot of the flower on one side, and then the other one you'll see a little bit of it on the other side. And I may add maybe a little one over here. And so what I needed to do was this. I'm going to need to mop up some of this green, right? I'm going to take a lot of this, and it's going to pretty much clean this palette area, leaving me some room to add, to build more color. And then I'm going to drop some of these water splashes. I'm going to drop in this color like this, splotching it on there, allowing that to dry. And then what I need to do, clean my brush, come over here and get some of this pink and splot it right there. Oops, that's a little too much water. And get that splatting, whatever you call it. What do you call that? Splatting technique down, and that way you have the colors throughout your picture. And then what I'm going to go in here and do is probably, I'm going to take this pink, so my pink, what I'm using on this palette right over here, you really can't see that, and I think this was my pink right here. Let me see. Yep, that was my pink. And then I'm going to take some of this lavender, this purple, and bring it in into this pink. You see how wonderful and fun it is to work with watercolor? And then, once I've done that, oop, hang on. Then I'm going to test my color, and that's the color I want. So now I'm going to bring it in here, kind of deep, right tones, right there. Bring that down in this section here. And then I'm going to take this and I'm going to increase my strokes. And create this I forget what this flower is called, but you see how gorgeous this looks? So you got that light pink undertone, and then you're going over with the deeper pink color. Pinkish purple magenta, maybe? And I'm just lightly stroking you see what a beautiful flower that creates. And then once these strokes have and then let me see if I can do this technique. Now right up in this upper corner I kind of made it too thick, right? So I'm going to take because I didn't like it, I'm just going to stroke this out and use it to take it into the background. And this allows me to create a thinner stroke of the petal, and then I'm just going to use it as a happy accident and fix it, and then bring out that color to wash it into in the background. And you can, and see this right here is just, I love this. I'm going to bring more of this pink down and then deepen that color. I'm going to come back in here. I need more water. Let's pick it up. And oh, that was a little too much of a bleed, so what I'm going to do is go mop. No harm done, no, right? It's fixed. So I've got to wait for that to dry up just a bit so I can continue building the petals of the flower. And then I am going to take some of this, oops, more of this pink, that pink that I got, and then I need to take some of this, oops, I need to move this paint palette. Some more of this purple. And bring it into, because this is the next layering of color that I want to add. Okay, it needs to be a little bit deeper. So I need, see where on my paint palette I'm referring to this right here where my purple is located. I believe this is it right here. Yep, that's it right there. So I need to bring in some more of this pink. This pink wash, because I want a little more. Okay, I need to grab some more of my pink. Oops, I just kind of made a mess over here. Hang on, guys. Oh, because my workspace is so tiny. Oh, okay. So now I've got some more of this pink. Putting it into this purple. Because I want this purple. And I'm going to test my color out. Yep, see that? And that's what I want. I want the deep. Oh, and that was a little too much. So I'm going to wipe that away. And then let me take my other and just build this into the background. I'm going to brush that out. And that fixed that. Blot that out. Let's dry it. Okay, and I should have waited for that to dry. But this is the beauty of watercoloring. There we go. And I just stroke that out a bit. Okay, and let's build that up. Okay, I wasn't too happy with that stroke. But, you know, that's okay. Hold a second. Let me just lift that up. I think that's where I'm going to have to fix this by washing it out. See, I'm just taking it and fixing it. And what I should have used, what I'm going to do is change it to this brush. It is a number 8, actually. That's an 8 round. I'm going to get my liner. Nope, that's a round. Where's my liner? It's a number 1 liner. Let me see if my number 1 liner is going to work. So I'm going to grab some of this purple. Probably should have. There we go. The number 1 liner. Too much water there. And I probably made that a little too thick in that area. So I'm trying mop some of it up. See how things are actually fixable. And let's see. So what I'm going to do is get some of this green and build up that area again that I bring some of that down there. And let me get into my, need to get a little more purple here and bring over some of this pink. There we go. I don't want to lose that in there, so I'm going to get my little liner pen and just and I think that's probably it for my petals. And so it's the whole idea about this abstract is not to make it look like it's, I mean, it's a flower, but I'm not going for like realistic flowers. I am wanting to create a whimsical, abstract type of flower scene. If that makes sense. So I am, let's see, what else do I want to do here to this? Ah, yes. Okay. So this, setting this brush aside, I need to take this now and wet this because it's got a lot of pigment on this. And drop in this purple. And I know I've got some really thick beads here, but when it dries, it's going to look absolutely gorgeous. So I'm going to take my brush. This is I've been using a number 12. I usually like the number 12, 8 and 12. Sometimes a 10. What would I use the 10 for? Leaves. It's too watered out. Got too much water there than pigment, so I'm going to mop it up. And drop some this purple. Grab a little of this green. And I'm going to grab is that my black? No. Yeah. Add a little purple in this. And I'm going to create a little definition of let's see if I'll bring that up closer when I'm showing what I'm doing. Just to separate the petals from the base, the bulb of the flower. It was just a bit too wet. Just gonna fan this out a bit. Let me check this out. I'll close my sight. Okay, I'm gonna have to fade some of this black up here. That was just too heavy, too harsh. A little towel can fix. A little blotting to fix that. There. So that's what that looks like so far. Abstract and beautiful, right? Let's see if I can mop up some of this color right here. See how it makes a... Oops, my phone is falling down. Let me get some of this dark purple pigment. Just drop it in that to make it a little stronger color. Drop that in just like that. So what do you think, guys, so far? Is that pretty cool looking? I think so. So see how easy? It just, you know, it's easy to fix. It doesn't have to be, and that's what I love about abstract. It doesn't have to be perfect. I mean, because it's all fixable, and it just, abstract makes it just look beautiful. When your accidents happen, it becomes an abstract painting, you know? That's what I think anyway. So I'm going to let this dry. I'm going to let this dry so I can add some more coloring over here. Like, let me show you, for example. I'm gonna mop up some of this purple, right? And see, see, it's a really light fade. It's not a very heavily pigment. I'm just gonna go over here and just take some of this and then wet my brush again really good, clean water, and just kind of like add some of this purple in the background. Just mop it up and spread that color around like so. Let me bring it up close so you can see what I'm doing, and see how I took some of this wet purple right here, and I'm just gonna lay some down right here, and it's a little too dark for me, so I'm just gonna wash my brush off, dry it over here, and just, well, actually a little more water than that to spread the color out like so. And how about that corner? See how gorgeous that is, right? And then I am going to wet my brush again and take up this purple the green that's left on my palette, and we're going to use it up. We're going to use this up by adding it some here, just dropping it here and there, up here and here. Let's mop it up and just add it over here, and then add more water to it and just kind of spread that out just like so. Spread that green out just like so. Take a little more water and spread it out. Spread that green out. So we're blending it into the background, making it a part of the background. See how gorgeous, right? So we've captured all these colors on here from, let me let this out and just, from our painting. And for me to give it a little, I'm going to give it just a bit of a contrast. I might add some blue in here just to here, let me show you what I'll do. So I've got some blue. I turn my palette around. I'm going to mop up what I've left in on here, and that's how I clean my palette. So I'm taking this blue, and then I'm just going to drop some in here. It's sort of like a blue, gray, green, and I'm just going to mop that up, just hide it into the background like so. Give it some extra depth, so I'm trying to mop up that blue. Give it some more in here, sort of like a bluish green. And spread that out just a bit. See what I'm doing? It's more of like a blue-green, but I'm going to, we can add some more. Let me put this down here by taking up the blue. I'm going to reach into this palette, grab some of this blue, put it down in here, grab some more of this blue, bring it down in my palette with this green. See what it, oh, you can't see that. So let me turn my, oop, let me turn it the other way around. So right here I'm working with all this green. So I'm wetting my brush, picking up this blue, laying it down, and then taking that green, all this green, and bringing it in. But I need a little more blue. And get some more blue, and lay it down. And then watch what I'm going to do with this. Let me put this down over here, and I'm going to grab some water. Okay, grab some water. And blotch it onto the background. And then I can take what's on my brush after splotting and just come in. Let me bring it up closer. I'm coming in and just adding some of this highlight of blue, and then I know I'm just coming in and just laying it down, and then I'm going to spread it out, just giving that highlight of blue in the painting. And don't go overboard. I mean, there can be a moment where we're adding just way too much, but I think since I've spread this blue green out, the splotching of the blue, sorry, I hope I'm not making you guys see motion sick, but see, we've got this beautiful faint blue and the pink and the magentas and the purples in the background, and I think I'm pretty happy where we've got the, I'm just gonna drop in some more pigment of this blue and dot it in like that. Just, let's see, what else can I just dot that in, making it some heavy lines of this gorgeous blue, just, and it'll dry beautifully. And I think, let's see if I want to add a little, no, I don't want to add any tint of blue into my leaves, but I want to add another, no, now for this, once it's dry, I'm gonna, oh, no, actually, let me tell you, see this right in here in this flower, remember I needed to let it dry, because I want to take, see, I revert to my number 10, my little paintbrush, number 10 brush, and I wet it, and I'm going to reconstitute this black down here in this corner. Test it out on my paper if it's too heavy, which is actually perfect, that stroke of black, see? And I'm going to come in and just drop some more black detail around here so that the base of the, you see, stands out just a bit more. Coming over here into the, dropping it into this flower, creating the separation of the flower to its bulb. And then, let me lift this up and show you. See? Kind of gives it some more depth and dimension. I'm just going to lightly stroke, let's see, right there. And yeah, I think that's a little more. Bring it out here to the edge right here. And then bring some more down here to the edge. And I think we're good to that with that. And then now, what I want to do is take this, I'm going to add a little more water to this black. And if you see my brush here, can you see, let me see. Can you see my brush? It's got a really nice tip, right? So now I'm going to take the tip and being careful not to put my hand down on the, I'm going to add just a bit right here at the stem. Maybe bring some of it down and through the stem. See if I can hold it like this and paint. And then coming down over here at the base of this bulb, some black, and I'll bring it down lightly. That's a little too dense, too pigmented. Oh man, okay. There, I had to lighten up that pigment. It was a little bit too heavy for my liking. There. And then I'm gonna, okay, I can't hold it and paint. It looks dark right there, but I'm going to go ahead and try and wisp this down into, I need more pigment, and then just lightly bring it down, and then I'm going to put some at the base of the leaves right here where my cool little leaves are, and give it some outline and dimension to my leaves. I need a little more pigment right there. I'm just squiggling it up. Watch me squiggle. I'm just going to go like this. Squiggle it, and then bring it over here to give it some separation, or depth actually. Can we see that? My lighting is not that great, is it? Not to show you its true value, but what I did, let me see if I can do that again. So here's a leaf in here while it's behind. I'm just going to lightly touch the leaf. I'm going to squiggle it in. This is my leaf. And here's my leaf. Need a little more pigment. Just touching the tip. And then you can see some depth and behind the petals where my leaf is. And there's just little details. That's pretty much it. Maybe I might put a little line in the leaf like that to... Oh, let's wet this black again. And I might do... Okay, let's see if I can hold this steady. A little squiggle line. A little squiggle line, a little squiggle line. And giving some depth to the bulb. And just squiggling it, just giving it a little squiggly line. And I think everyone, our painting, our picture is finished. I like it just the way it is. I don't want to go too much more into it, otherwise I think I might foobar it. So I hope everybody likes this, what I've done. I hope you've enjoyed my company doing this. Painting. This is what I've been getting into. I'm building up pages for a horticulture type journal for garden lovers and horticulturists, and I don't know if this flower is actually authentic, but I think I've seen some flowers looking like this in a garden. So thank you, everybody. It's like 57 minutes. Oh my gosh. Wasn't hoping this video was going to be this long, but it ended up being that long. So anyway, I want to thank you again for joining me. Please, if you like my video, please give me a thumbs up, even comment. Leave me a comment and share my videos. And if you're not a subscriber, please subscribe. Thank you. Peace and love, guys. Bye.